Greetings, travelers. Welcome. We have a somewhat special edition today. That's all we have any day, any time now is special things, but times are unique. So, as you might be able to surmise, we're going to be talking about Breath of the Wild. We're joined by Megan, our French fry champion, if you happen to catch the taste testing special. So we both have enjoyed the game, and we just wanted to kind of have a conversation on it. We spoke on the topic before, but nothing real. Okay, well, we have gone in depth actually, but we haven't sat down and actually discussed, okay, what do you think of this game critically so much? So I thought we would start by describing somewhat of our background with the Zelda series briefly to give you an idea of where we are coming from. So why don't you go ahead and start, Megan?
So I certainly haven't played all the games. We did Legend of Zelda as a kid. I remember doing that, and then I replayed it a few years ago. But otherwise,
the NES one, you mean, or
is it NES? The Legend of Zelda.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
NES.
So we played that one, and I replayed that one with on the Wii, where you can buy the old games and play them. And then I've done the more recent ones like Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess and Phantom Hourglass, or
On the DS.
and then like Wind Waker. I played a part of Majora's Mask, but that's the one with the time difference where when it ran out of time, it sent you back, and it just made me mad too many times. When I actually got to play the game with that one, but then it would send me back, and it took me ever to figure it out in the first place, and I finally kind of just stopped playing for a little bit. And then recently I started playing Ocarina of Time on the Wii U, but I kind of stopped playing that one when Breath of the Wild came out.
And there's a big difference, but so mine is similar. I've been, I think, a steadier player of the game than you were. Zelda was one of my first games. You know, the Atari 2600 was the first console I played. Our grandparents had Pac-Man and Missile Command and all that kind of stuff. But you know, NES, Zelda is one of my first memories of a game. The battery not working, so we had to leave the NES on. All that kind of good stuff. I never did finish the first Zelda. Still haven't to this day. I need to replay it and actually beat the game. I did then beat Zelda 2. Link to the Past was probably my favorite on the SNES, of course. And so I've played everything except 2 Zeldas, not including the Wand of Gamelon stuff on the CDI and whatever else. They weren't made by Nintendo, and they were not good, as I understand it. They're universally trashed. The only 2 I haven't played, I own one of them, is I have the Oracle of Seasons or Ages. I forget which one I started. I'm almost done with that on the DS. And I need to finish and play the other. And Spirit Tracks. I haven't played Spirit Tracks. Other than that, I've loved them. Personally, I think I like Majora's Mask better than Ocarina of Time, but Ocarina was really good. I enjoyed the heck out of that back in the day. And so, other than that, I've enjoyed all those other games. My least favorite has been Skyward Sword. There was just too much of the waggle control nonsense. And I thought Twilight Princess was fine. You hear a lot of people complaining about it now, but I don't remember disliking it at the time. I did not play the HD. I didn't, like as I said, I don't have the Wii U, so. But we're not here to talk about those. We just wanted to get a little bit of background. Let's talk Breath of the Wild. So, what do you think?
I love it. I've noticed with the past Zeldas where you're confined to this smaller map and you just go on the way of the next main quest item with a little bit of extra stuff on the side. But with the Breath of the Wild, it's so massive that I get so distracted all the time, and I'm like off doing gosh knows what with whatever shrine or whatnot, and so far off from the main quest like all the time. But that's kind of the great thing about Breath of the Wild, is you're supposed to be able to play it however you want to play it. If you want to go straight on the main quest, if you want to do all the side stuff, or a mix of the two.
Yeah, I think the I'm not sure if it's changed, but the record right now is finishing the game in something like 51 minutes or under an hour speed run. And I think there was some debate on that too, because they would use the amiibo and then acquire certain items. So then I think there was some talk about a speed run record with and without amiibo. And speed runs aren't my thing, but I do think it's neat that, you know, this is a game that people have put hundreds of hours into and said, I'm still finding things and still going back and playing, but you can finish a game in under an hour. Legitimately, I think that's pretty neat. I love it too. I've had a very similar experience to yours. I'm able to stay a little bit more focused because I'll want to upgrade gear so I can take more damage, or I know I want to go do this because I want to get this guy for that quest, so I'm able to stay a little bit more focused. But it's still something where you'll go, crap, I want to do this thing, but I need to go over here and I need to deal with this. And we're going to, I don't think I mentioned it, we're going to try to keep this spoiler free for the most part, but still be able to share our thoughts on the topic. So, what have you thought of the game in general? Because you're playing on the Wii U and I'm playing on the Switch. And what has your experience been on the Wii U?
Like game controls and that kind of thing?
Yeah, and as far as how it looks, problems with stuttering and frame rate issues, things of that nature.
I haven't had any problems when I'm on my Wii U gamepad in front of my TV. I haven't had any issues. I play it on the TV. I don't usually play it on the gamepad. I love the graphics. It all looks really good. I will say, when I tried to switch over to the Wii U gamepad because I wanted to go play it laying in bed one day, and it couldn't work. It kept glitching, saying I wasn't in sensor with the Wii U, and that was the first game I ever tried to play somewhere else with the gamepad. So I was a little disappointed at the very short range of the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah. I've heard that complaint from a lot of people.
But I haven't had a single problem when I'm just playing on the TV with any glitches, or I don't know what frame rate means.
Yeah, not specific. not specific to Zelda. People's complaints were with regards to the Wii U. Well, you know, we had this promise of sort of this portable in your home experience, and you couldn't go very far at all. You know, and the Switch has delivered that now. So I've heard that as a compliment for the Switch and sort of a knock against the Wii U. I've heard that complaint quite a bit. Not unique to Zelda.
That's what I was jealous that day. You're like, I'm going to go get in bed now before I go to bed and play a little bit longer. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do that too. No, I couldn't.
Work out so well.
Well, if I lay at the foot of my bed, facing directly the way of the Wii U, I'm okay. But that's about it.
And you could move the whole unit, of course, but
yeah, no.
Yeah,
No.
Not ideal.
We'll say of the playability, and we'll mention the amiibos. Like, the new ones, I was kind of disappointed when they were all $15 each, with the Guardian being $20.
Yeah.
I thought that was too much money. I wouldn't want any of them. This is the new one of the new ones. And but I will say, of all the Wii U games I've seen so far with amiibo ability, it's the first one I feel like I'm actually getting use of my amiibos more so than the other ones. Like, I use my Wolf Link over there a lot. I used it a lot more in the beginning when I had really crappy weapons and no idea what I was doing, and
Right.
whistling when I was trying to take out a weapon and that kind of thing. So I have been happier with the way the amiibos actually add to the game. I wish they weren't $15 per amiibo for the new one.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that price increase. I don't have any of the new Breath of the Wild one, but I'm not seeing anything about this that makes me think it's any more detailed than, you know, old school P-Stand Link, for example, from Smash. I'm not sure where the price increase comes from. I know they produced a lot of Animal Crossing amiibos and those did not sell well. I don't know if they figured, hey, they're in demand, people are going to love Zelda, they're going to want these for Breath of the Wild. We'll jack the price up initially and then we'll drop it later maybe.
I will say that I've had a hard time finding the new ones and the old ones. Before, every time I would go to like Walmart or something, I would always go look and see what's on rollback, what's on sale. And there would always be like Zelda's there or one of the Links is there. Now it's so hard to find any of them. So I think they are selling them.
I've seen that as well initially, even just after the game launched. I saw quite a few still at some stores, the grocery stores where you wouldn't necessarily think to look. But even now when I go there, there's selection is much more limited.
I do get why the Guardian, he's a big one.
Yes.
That he's 20, so that makes a little more sense. Maybe
It does.
he should have been 15. Wolf Link I know because he was only sold with Twilight Princess originally.
Yeah.
I love Midna, so there was no way I wasn't going to get him as soon as he was separate. So, but I mean, it looks cool, but I just don't get
It
why
does.
it's 15.
And there's a little bit more to that, but this Bokoblin was 15 too.
That was a
And
gift.
it is. I know. It was a gift. But I'm looking at this in comparison to something like Toon Link and P-Stand Link and Ganon, and I'm just not seeing.
Yeah, Ganon, he's super detailed with the painting on his cape, and I would imagine he was 12 around there.
Yeah. Right. I might have even. No, I got him right away.
Bokoblin came from the Pizza Champion. That's probably that one.
He did. So I think it's just, hey, we know Zelda's going to be popular. Let's jack the price up, and then they figure we can lower it later, and people will still buy them.
I think they're selling though. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
I want Zelda.
I don't like it, but I guess it's smart business.
Right.
Now, from my experience personally, they basically what will happen is you can find information online on specifically what will drop. But you'll get items, gear from Link, armor, and from Toon Link, and Ganon will drop swords, and then you also get potentially rupees come with Ganon, and then you'll find fruits and veggies and fish and things like that.
Just say I never get rupees.
Ganon's the only one I've seen that gives, but I only have the 3.
Yeah,
From
Bokoblin,
the Zelda series.
he gives a lot of raw meat and Boko clubs, but like with durability plus and
Right.
that kind of thing. So.
But, even at this point in the game, I like getting those. It's nice to have, especially because rupees are hard to come by in the game, at least initially. I found some places where you can earn more if you want to put in a little bit of time now.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like, if I really needed it, yeah, I could come up with the cash. So not as big a deal at the moment.
They make great gifts.
I do make great gifts. But I don't feel like any of these are necessary. I thought it was cool when I had it. I'm like, I gotta get all these amiibo. And looking back at it now, I go, I like them. And when they're on sale, sure. I have quite a few amiibo. I do enjoy them, but I didn't like the way Nintendo conducted a lot of it. And that's pretty much been everyone's experience, I think. And they sort of dropped off. Where you still grab them if you like them, but oh man, I got to get this one. I don't feel that drive personally anymore. So, this Bokoblin, for example, he's cool, but I wouldn't grab him unless he was on sale personally. That's why you got him as a gift. Actually, I mentioned it, and Lindsay said, and I said, that's not going to be her favorite. I don't know what else was there.
Because he's creepy looking.
I said, but I think she still want him.
Yes.
And Lindsay said, yeah, and that'll work out well because that'll mean it's not something she buy on her own. So
Right.
There you go. So don't feel like in my opinion, you're not really missing out if you don't have the amiibo. You won't be able to get, the special armor that comes with Link or from Toon Link or whatever from Sheik, for example. And I haven't seen her. Yes, she wants her. I haven't seen her stuff drop, but I know from them specifically that it's fine. But I'm not even using the gear, and then to level it up, you need to get elements that are harder to acquire. Not the end of the world, but require a little bit of effort to track down. And so I haven't upgraded any of that gear. I don't know if there's any bonuses for it. There are equipment supposedly has bonuses as you level it up. But I haven't done that yet, other than the innate abilities of any particular gear that you might come across. But basically, I love the game. There are a few issues. So from the Switch perspective, I have noticed frame rate, basically how smooth the game is. The game stuttering, especially when you go into certain areas. You'll see slowdown. It kind of feels choppy and things aren't running very smoothly anymore. I've noticed that in a few spots. I didn't pay too much. Almost all my time has been on the television. I have spent some time, handful of hours playing on the Switch portably. but I'm older, my eyes suck, so yeah. So I try to stick to television. I think it looks gorgeous personally. They get the cell shaded look, of course, as everyone's well aware, I'm sure. The problems I have with the game are similar to what you hear from everyone else. Cooking's a pain in the butt because you can't make more than one dish at a time. That's annoying. More importantly, you have to keep, unless you were to keep a pad of paper next to you or a FAQ open, which I don't want to do because I don't want things ruined for me, period. Remembering a recipe requires you to go and look it up in your menu or to remember exactly what you did, and that's not good. That's not smart. I kind of get what they were going for with it, but you can make it user friendly and still keep that, the wild, I'm surviving with my wits and crafting thing without having to do that. I understand where the weapon durability and such comes from. It did not bother me as much as I thought it would. I'm not the kind of person who likes something where you're going to permanently lose an item. Being able to repair it, I can live with, but permanently losing it isn't my thing. But it actually hasn't been so bad with this. It still kind of bugs me, but
I notice I'll hold on to a certain thing if I really like it because I don't want to lose it, but I really like it because it's a good weapon, so then I don't use the good weapon so I don't lose it.
Yeah.
Which defeats the purpose of a weapon.
I feel like I've struck a good balance there to where I go, okay, I need to take this guy down, so I don't mind using that whatever now. A little trickier when towards the end of its life, you're like, wow, do I want to use it just to get out my inventory so I can get something else? Yeah.
At least it does give you a warning. Like I do it's badly damaged, so you gotta put it away, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't give you any numbers. You can't tell. No. It's not Diablo where it's 3 out of 50 durability. You'll know when it's about at the end of its life, and it'll tell you that specifically, but you won't be able to gauge it mathematically. I'm sure you've heard many complaints about the rain. I agree, it's obnoxious. Although I'm going to be honest, at this point, maybe that's where they're coming from partially. At this point in the game, with the abilities and equipment that I have, the rain showing about is a very minor inconvenience now. Whereas towards the beginning of the game where you're trying to climb, I more than once wanted to punch Link in the face because, come on, man, get some gloves or something. I don't know. It's not that slippery.
I think part of it is, in no other Zelda game or any other game that I could think of, like Assassin's Creed or anything, where you have this big world, you're still limited by walls and borders. And with, Breath of the Wild, you go where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I think with the rain and stuff is just still trying to keep you in check a little bit, so you just can't get wherever you want to go when you want to go. Like you have to have the right tools or the right weather to get there. So I think it annoys me sometimes, but I think I get why it is there.
The weather is used on occasion specifically to make something more challenging. Most of it's random. I think it's more, it allows them to put more gear and more abilities into the game for things for you to search out, and I think that's more where it's coming from, but it is used as an obstacle to overcome.
Yeah.
Temperatures and things of that nature. That doesn't bug me, right? So it's actually kind of cool to deal with that challenge. And if cooking wasn't as much of a pain in the butt, it would be even cooler because then I'd be more likely to want to go make a dish to protect against cold.
I do like the noise when you're cooking.
Oh yeah, that's
but
fantastic.
I noticed the skip button, the skip sequence is the same length as the cooking sequence.
Yeah, and the noise is fun, so you might as well do it anyway.
But when you roast something on open fire, you drop 5 apples, they're all gonna, catch on fire and roast together. So
yeah,
you could do that.
Oh, there was an annoyance. So when I scanned Amiibo, it only handles so much that has fallen, and things will disappear if you try to do too much at once. So keep that in mind. I try to do no more than 3. With Ganon, he drops a chest in barrels, and those barrels disappear like that when you drop something else. So I do him individually because the barrels have the rupees in them. And now it isn't as big a deal, but especially at the beginning, you want those rupees. I want to say once I got like 350 rupees out of a barrel.
Yeah, there's not a lot of rupees in this game. I'm finding more chests that have them,
Yeah.
but it's still nowhere near the amount. Like in any of the other Zelda games, you cut some grass, you're probably gonna get at least 1 rupee. It doesn't work that way in Breath of the Wild. Like you don't get rupees too often.
I am significantly, well, farther. I've spent a bit more time with it than you have, so I feel like I have a better grasp on that economy now. Where I'm not going to say that I have enough money, but I'm not as worried about it as I was in the past, feeling like, I should be on Link. But yes, but I agree with you. But the complaints like that are pretty minor. This is a fantastic game. We had spoken before. I haven't finished it, but it's safe to say that this is going to end up being my favorite Zelda game. I don't see it as, well, okay, this is my favorite of this type, and this is my favorite of that type. I think legitimately this is going to be my favorite Zelda game. Link to the Past, that's not taken away from that. That is still, has a very special place in my heart, especially for nostalgia reasons. Playing for that multiple times as a kid is fantastic. I have to say too that originally I was not happy when I heard about the DLC stuff, and I still think that shirt is stupid. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking with that Switch shirt.
That's weird.
Really stupid, but that's fine. You don't have to get it, and I'm not. But when the DLC comes out and they add a new dungeon, I don't know what the hard mode is, and we'll see. But I'm excited for the DLC now, when I can't wait for it, whereas before, especially with that Switch shirt, it really turned me off. But now I'm excited for it, and I am not even close to being done with the game because I want to do all the side stuff. Love the game. It's fantastic. This, it's my favorite Zelda game. It should end that way. And it might be my favorite game, period. And it's hard to compare games. I'm a big Civilization guy, for example, and you can't compare Civilization and Zelda. It just doesn't work. But certainly, just in general, how much do you enjoy the game? Well, I would have to think long and hard before not having this, at the very top of the list. Very easily could be number 1 for me personally. What do you think?
So I love the Assassin's Creed games. Like, love them.
But real quick, because I'm going to forget again if you didn't. You brought up Assassin's Creed. I'm playing Rogue right now. Right, I'm catching back up in the series. Yeah, I know you don't like Shay. I'm playing Rogue right now, and so my wife likes to watch me play Rogue, or Assassin's Creed in general. She's like watching the story. And I turned it on, and I had to put down Zelda, and I'm like, alright, fine, we'll play Rogue. So I started playing Rogue. And not being able to climb whatever you want, wait until you go back and play the next Assassin's Creed. If they don't have the climbing like that's in this, it drives you nuts. You're like, come on, man. It drives you nuts. But, sorry, go ahead.
That's what I said. No, when I think about other games where you can't climb the walls,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3 pops into my head.
Yeah.
Because you spend so much time
in the wild.
In America, yeah. And with all these boulders and stuff, and you can't go there.
No.
Like, that means edge of the world.
Yeah.
And that's just not like that. The sea is the edge of the world, pretty much, from the parts of the map that I have. And it probably will let you go out until your stamina dies, I'm assuming.
No.
There's probably some cutoff point.
No, there is. I ran into something, because I have the whole map unlocked. And I ran into what... It may on the ocean. I don't know what happens there. I would also agree that you probably would die before. Well, no, they'd have to give you a reward eventually. You could probably keep eating stamina food.
That's true.
I guess eventually you might run out. But I legitimately ran into a border that said you cannot go any further. So it will stop you, and it doesn't wrap around.
No. You're like, who the F is this telling me not to? Yeah. That would have been interesting if it would have been a...
Right.
But I think traveling is such a big aspect of this game.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's flat.
So.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Don't tell me where I can't go.
Exactly. I agree with you. So what do you think? Obviously you love the game.
Oh, favorite game. That's why I brought up Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Assassin's Creed. And they are 2 different games and 2 different worlds. I like this is probably my favorite game of all time so far.
You think so?
Yeah.
We
It's
haven't
hard to
we haven't
say.
finished it.
You probably look at my progress marker that says like 5%. But even though I feel like I've played for hours and hours, I was going to try to look that up for today before I came here. But I couldn't find where it's located.
I think I saw something about under
didn't
My
look too
Nintendo. You can find out exactly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know on the Wii U. There was some talk about it on the Switch. It rounds into 5-hour increments. Personally, I don't care. But so you think this is your favorite game? It it probably end up being what I understand based on reviews is the ending is also good. Oh yeah, voice acting. Some of the voice acting is substandard in my opinion, but I do kind of like what they're doing with the story. So.
Well, that's what I was telling you just the other day. We talk on the phone a lot about this game in text.
Yeah.
Or we'll actually just sit on the phone on speakerphone while we're off in 2 different sections playing. But I feel like they're like flirting with the idea of making a cartoon series based on the cutscenes. Because the other Zelda cutscenes have never been like this. And I don't know. I think they may be flirting with a cartoon series of Zelda.
Well, you remember the rumors that was going to happen with Netflix, right? I mentioned
No.
it about a year or so ago.
Oh.
There was a rumor that was happening that was kind of shut down, but it wasn't completely shut down. So I won't say that you're wrong. I don't get that impression, but, based on those rumors and you forgot about them, that was your impression of it, so you could be onto something.
Because one of my favorite things about Assassin's Creed is the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Like, I like how they look real life and that kind of thing, and then we got a movie. So, we won't talk about the movie, but
yeah,
that's not the point.
it wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't.
But I would not call it good either.
I think a lot of the cutscenes in the games themselves piece together for a better movie. So.
And we'll have to sit down, especially once I'm further along and have caught up here and have an Assassin's Creed talk. But
Yes.
that is for another time.
Another time.
Yeah,
I've played more than him with Assassin's Creed, so.
You have. Speaking of which, if anyone's out there seeing this soon, through the 27th, I saw that Syndicate is on sale on the PS4 for the gold for $20.99 or something.
It's worth playing if you like the other ones. Syndicate. I was thinking,
Syndicate, yeah.
what's the bad one? Unity, yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say that's worth playing
it was
if you like
bad.
the other ones.
Because of I believe the issue's been fixed. But
I love Syndicate. I would pay full price again to play it again.
I was going to ask you about that, and this might do our viewers a service too. You don't have the DLC.
No.
There's the Jack the Ripper DLC.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't have it. No.
So you would say I can borrow the game from you and play it.
Yes.
Play through it. But if our roles were reversed and you knew how much you were going to like it at $20.99 with the DLC, would you buy it for
Yes.
yourself? Okay, I thought so, but I just
Yes.
wanted to check. Okay.
So good.
My wife had the same opinion. She's like, "Oh, I'll pick it up. I love Assassin's Creed, so get it."
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like Aveline and Evie, just for, of course, being women assassins.
So you were probably a little upset that there was no Assassin's Creed this year.
You know what? If they have to take their time to regroup, that's fine.
And make a better game? Yeah.
Yeah, and I have this.
I heard, yeah.
So I'm okay for this year.
No, it was last year.
Yeah, so it should be this year.
I meant
that they have
2016. So this year, the rumor is it'll be out this year, and it's set in Egypt. But we'll see.
Right, Egypt. Yeah, I'm excited for that. But Zelda, love it.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Zelda, which is actually the far superior series and game. So I like Assassin's Creed, but this is much better. Yeah, it doesn't. I can't say enough good things about it. I know I was sharing some of the things I dislike because there are annoyances there, but it doesn't matter. I'm not in the rating business, but boy, this would be about as close to perfect for a game as I've seen. It's certainly not, as I mentioned.
We didn't mention it. I really enjoy Hyrule Warriors.
Yes, I do too. We make that clear. One of our dirty secrets. We're Hyrule. Well, we are Hyrule Warriors fans. We've played on her Wii U, but we're also Dynasty Warriors fans.
Yes.
I've played since 2. And, I haven't played all of every game. I haven't played every game, but it's on your own, there's not much to it. But sitting down and playing with somebody, just some mindless mutton mashing.
Mindless. We play for hours.
Button mashing. You sit there and I like the Empire versions a lot too, but regardless, that's one of our dirty secrets. Hyrule Warriors was pretty good, and it's fun to sit down and play together. So, if definitely worth picking up. If you haven't, I would not be surprised to see it show up on Switch because not many people.
Yeah.
So we had a little technical difficulty, but basically we'll just wrap it up real quick. Yeah, Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors,
Good game.
woo, good stuff.
Woohoo!
Breath of the Wild is awesome. We both love it. We'll do a spoiler cast sometime soon. And any parting words?
I love it. That's all I've got.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And hey, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know any suggestions you might have, what you think of Zelda. Let's chat. Talk to everybody later.